What's up, guys? Brian Ratsky here from MarylandSportsblog.com. Um, yeah, sorry about the acoustic guitar for a second. My amp's kind of put away right there because my brother was trying to reorganize things around here and kind of messed with my stuff. Wasn't really happy about it, but by next week I'll have my electric guitar back out. Um, yeah, so let's talk about the Ravens-Jets game. Since the Ravens are on a bye, we don't have any other games to preview. We'll find other stuff to talk about, though. At least I will. I don't see anybody else here, except for you viewers, I guess. Yeah, Ravens-Jets. Kind of went like I predicted with the score and everything. A little bit more defensive than I thought. Defense is kind of dominated that game. The Ravens had a decent opening drive, but in the end, it was just all defenses, all points mostly were scored off turnovers and defensive touchdowns, which for a guy that's grown up being a Baltimore Ravens fan, we've kind of gotten used to, and we kind of appreciate that a little bit more than fans of other teams. We get excited for that type of stuff when we see Ed Reed forcing a fumble on Mark Sanchez and Jameel McClain picking it up and taking it back for 6. That kind of gets us pumped. Yeah, offensively, I was kind of disappointed in the Ravens. Joe Flacco missed on a couple deep shots to Torrey Smith. I thought he wasn't as bad as his quarterback rating would have made you thought it was, but he definitely did have a tough stretch there. I thought Ed Dixon and Dennis Pitta were going to have big games. Ed Dixon started off looking like he was going to have a huge game, but he kind of tailed off. Flacco missed him on a couple passes, and Flacco hit him perfectly on a couple, and he just dropped him, which was kind of disappointing to see. I think the offense would have been clicking a lot better if they could have had Ed Dixon playing a little better. But again, he's young. This is his first year starting. So you're going to see some hiccups like that. Still immensely talented. But every once in a while you'll see a game like that from Ed Dixon. Let's just hope we don't see that many more. We can be assured that Todd Heap would have probably made those catches. But this stage in his career, I don't think he would have been getting open. Ed Dixon on quite a few plays was just had a lot of separation off of the linebackers and safeties, like I thought he would. And speaking of Todd Heap, he's not really putting up much of a season in Arizona. I haven't really got to watch him play, but it looks like he might be on one of his last years. Not really having a big impact in the offense at all. Back to the Ravens-Jets game. I hope everybody checks out Amar Sheehan's Twitter account. If you're not friends with him on Facebook, check out his Twitter account before Sunday. Some of you guys know he kind of lost a bet to me. He's my friend that does a sports marketing vlog. He's a big Jets fan from New York, and I had a bet with him that if the Ravens won, he had to have a picture of Joe Flacco on his Facebook and Twitter pages as his profile picture. Of course, he picks a worse Joe Flacco picture you can find, one with like a makeshift unibrow posted in, but still he's had to live with it, and he's been hating it ever since. And my side of the deal was I would have had to have a profile picture of any Jet that he wanted, but luckily I was extremely confident in my Ravens to win, so I won that bet. Going and to talk a little bit more about the Ravens and Jets. Just a great game. Let's not lie. Even though the offenses were terrible, it was still very exciting. Ravens could work on the kickoff coverage a little bit more. I know it looked like there was a penalty on the one big kickoff that the Ravens Jets took back, but it wasn't called, so the Ravens had to eat it. But I thought the officiating crew was kind of bad on both sides. At one point, the head's umpire was like, "Is a penalty on this side or that side?" When it was on the Jets, it was early in the game. They looked out of sync and like they didn't have a clue the whole time. That being said, let's move on past the Ravens Jets game. Ravens have a bye week. I think it's a great time for the Ravens to get healthy. They have a plethora of really good players that are hurt. First two that come to mind are Lee Evans and Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith only played on the opening kickoff for the Ravens. He's a first-round pick, cornerback. He's big, strong, fast. It might take him a couple games to get back in rhythm. I mean, he's not been walking. He's not been running. He just started walking a little while ago. But they hope they get him back for the Houston Texans game the first week after the bye. It'll be interesting to see that injury report come out on the next week. I'm not positive. I think it's going to start Wednesday like usual. Next week when they start giving them out, but they'll be practicing. The Ravens had off the whole week, but they'll start practicing probably Sunday or Saturday, maybe Monday. So it'll be interesting to see if Jimmy Smith finally gets back. Again, it's going to take him a while. He's going to have to knock off the rust. Plus, he's a rookie, so he's still going to be learning the game. Lee Evans is a guy. With the emergence of Torrey Smith, I thought Torrey Smith still had a great game against the Jets, even though he only had one catch for 1 yard. He was open a lot of times. On Ray Rice's big reception that he took back about 52 yards, I think it was, Torrey Smith had a great game blocking. And it really bodes well for the Ravens since Laquan Williams seems to be an above-average blocker, and Anquan Bolden is one of the best blockers in the game. With the emergence of Lee Evans coming back, I should say, with the acquisition of Lee Evans being at full strength. The Lee Evans that we saw in the first two games, he was hurt, which is why he sat out the past two games against the Rams and the Jets. It'll be interesting to see if they leave Torrey Smith as a number 2 and put Lee Evans as a number 3. Either way, the Ravens have a win-win situation because Lee Evans is a very much an above-average deep threat in the NFL. I think it will be really good for the Ravens to have him back, and with Laquan Williams also playing well. I think he might have kind of got benched on the punt returns. He was having trouble holding on with them, but as a wide receiver, he's been playing a lot better than as a punt returner. He had a big third down reception in traffic with the guy draped all over him against the Jets. I think he's going to have a bright future. Of course, you hear me talk about Laquan Williams just about every video blog. Not his best game, but against the Jets, but I thought still as a wide receiver he played fine. So we would have 4 good receivers and Tannen Doss. Don't forget about Tannen Doss. I think by the end of the year he's still going to have a big impact with the Ravens. Again, another guy that the Ravens should really be happy to get back healthy would be Ben Grubbs, the Pro Bowl guard, left guard. The offensive line really has not done that great. No matter who they've put in at left guard, it's like a missing link. If you remember watching the Jets Ravens game, you'll notice that when they really started running the ball later in the game, they kept running to the right side with Marshall Yanda and Michael Orr, not to the right side with McKinney and Garrard, which you didn't really see that much in the past. It used to always be left. When when Ben Grubbs was on there because he's just a fantastic run blocker. He's very athletic and a good pass blocker too. Um, Getting him back will be huge because I always say uh, every offense and every defense starts up front. If you're weak on the front lines, you're not really going to go very far as a team. You can see that right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their offense is just sputtering because they can't keep Big Ben on his feet. He's probably not going to make it through the season without missing a game because he keeps getting hit and keeps getting banged up, and it's going to take his toll. Um, Another team you can see that with is the Philadelphia Eagles, a quote unquote dream team. Um, they have no offensive line and a weak, smaller defensive line and smaller linebackers. Well, it doesn't really bowl well when you're trying to run the ball in the red zone and you're trying to stop the run. Teams just can run right through you. Maybe they're decent stopping them early in the game, but they get worn out because they're smaller. And by the end of the game, you'll see what happened with San Francisco 49ers. They just kept running the ball and they wore out, and those small games turned into big games, and they just started gashing them. Um, yeah, so having a guy like Ben Grubbs back for the Ravens, it would just add more depth because Andre is a good player. I think it will be very good having him later in the season when Matt Burke starts to wear down because I'm sure he will. He kind of has in the past for the Ravens. He's older. He's a very good player, but he's still older and he gets worn down. And he's still got that knee problem. So if they can like sub him in or find a way to use Andre to get Matt Burke rest, I think that would just be awesome. Yeah. Let's defensive and offensive MVPs. I guess I'll just do this off the top of my head because we got some time to kill on the video blog. Defensive, I say it's easily Haloti Nada. Very, very good start. He's just been dominant up front for the Ravens on defense. Offensively, that's a very, very hard question. I would give it to Joe Flacco, just because the 2 games that he's been on, he's just killed teams right off the bat. The Rams and Pittsburgh Steelers, it wasn't even a game. The Titans game, he had an off game, but the whole Ravens had an off game. Same thing with the Jets. He might have been struggling, but the offensive line was struggling. The wide receivers were struggling. The Jets just have a great defense. They shut down the wide receivers for the most part. So you can't really put that all on Joe Flacco. So offensive MVP I would give to the quarterback, which is a little cliche, but Ray Rice has been really good, has made a lot of plays, but he hasn't been the Ray Rice that has just destroyed teams, except for the Steelers. When the offensive line has struggled, so has Ray Rice, and so has Joe Flacco. They kind of come hand in hand. Yeah, the biggest surprise, biggest surprise for me, I would have to go with Kerry Williams. He only because he's had his rough patches against the Titans, but watching him against the New York Jets, he was just fantastic on Plexico Burrs. I thought he was going to get beat. He didn't. And he held in there most of the game. Of course, Mark Sanchez didn't really have much time. I'll never be one to say that Mark Sanchez isn't a good quarterback. He's probably the most overrated and overpraised player in the league. But we'll leave it at that. With that being said, our time is up. Thank you for watching the video blog. Hope you all have a great weekend. God bless. Don't cry too much during the bye week. See you guys.